Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to the What's New in SAP Build Q2 quarterly webinar, where we showcase the highlights of our innovations of the past quarter. Before we get started, here are some quick reminders that this session is being recorded, and we will share the recording and slides afterwards. And this webinar is open to both internal SAP audience and also external customer and partner audiences. Please share your questions in the Q&A tool on the right-hand side underneath, and then we will answer them in the Q&A section. Today we have myself, Jessie. I'm part of the product management team at SAP Build, taking care of product release communications and enablement activities. And I would love to hand it over to my colleagues, Rupam and Win, to introduce themselves as well.
Thanks, Jessie. My name is Rupam. I am a product manager with SAP Build, focusing primarily on the digital workplace aspects of SAP Build.
Thanks, Rupam. And I'm Win Acharya. I work as a product manager in SAP Build, mostly on SAP Build process automation topics. Thank you, Jessie. Over to you.
Thank you. All right, so what can we expect in terms of content today? First, we would like to share with you a little bit about the new SAP Build Discovery Initiative, how you can be part of it. And next, we have the Joule Studio, which is the exciting topic updates. And after that, we have 3 new governance capabilities that we would like to share with you today. And then last but not least, we have a bunch of new capabilities such as AI grounding in WorkZone with Joule integration, of course, and also BPM and import for process automation. And we would love to have 5 to 10 minutes at the end for a live Q&A section if we can make it. All right, so jumping right in, right? So what is actually the SAP Build Discovery Initiative? It is basically that if you're interested in shaping the future of SAP Build with us, we've introduced this program where we're basically looking for external participants to meet with our product teams, test early prototypes and concepts to get your feedback and also your business perspectives as well. So you can influence our innovations from day one. This is just 1 hour session per month, same day, same time. And you can also, pause and cancel your participation at any given time. So if you are interested in this program, please scan the QR code and get more information on how to sign up. Next, we have the Joule Studio updates. So as you know, Joule Studio has been making headlines, right? And we are super excited to announce that Joule Studio is now generally available in SAP Build, specifically the Joule Skills functionality. And for those who might be new to it, very quickly, Joule Studio is actually a low-code environment that actually lets you create, manage, and deploy your custom AI use cases using Joule, which is SAP's AI Copilot. In short, it is how you make Joule even smarter and fit for your business. So now SAP is making it easier than ever to embed AI into your daily processes securely and efficiently with Joule Studio. So within Joule Studio, of course, as you can see on the screen, you can do things, right? First, you can build custom AI agents, which are intelligent copilots that can actually reason and plan and act across SAP and even non-SAP systems on their own. And this is coming later in the year. And second, which is now available, is Joule Skills, where you can extend Joule itself using skills, which are modular, reusable logic blocks which you configure, telling Joule actually what to do. So that could mean, fetching sales orders, starting a workflow, or formatting a specific response to a business query, for example. So because every business has its own processes, data structures, and tools, Joule Studio gives you that flexibility to tailor Joule around those needs that fit to your businesses. So you might be wondering, okay, what exactly are the difference between Joule skills and AI agent actually, right? So Joule skills are like the power tools. You give them the right input, exactly what to do, and then they execute these specific tasks with precision. These are deterministic rule-based actions, and AI agents are more like the problem solvers, right? You describe the business problem and they figure out how to solve it using multiple steps on their own. So Joule Studio overall provides you the tooling for both of these scenarios, right? Whether it's predictable tasks or tackle more of the complex challenges that spans across multiple systems across your organization. So now that we know the difference, let's take a quick look at a quick demo of Joule skills, which is generally available right now. So of course, you start off in the SAP Build lobby to create your own project. Considering you have activated a Joule Studio, right? Of course, then you give your project a name. In this case, we want to have a skill that helps employees to retrieve their payslips and also tax statement. So now we create the skill. As you can see, this is a process automation interface. And now we will configure the specific inputs as to what, what information we are trying to retrieve. And then the output, what are we trying to retrieve as part of the skills, right? So here you can, configure on your own just with using drag and drop, and you can use all of the functionalities that the product has to offer, such as actions, script tasks, messages, forms, etc., etc. And then now we can test the skills. So here we have a Joule interface, right? Let's say the end user asks, I need my tax statement for 2024. And then the skill you have just configured is able to fetch this tax statement. And then you can use the skill across different systems, whether it's SuccessFactors or third-party solutions. Yeah. And then, of course, you deploy and release. To your environment of choice. And then that is it on the Joule skill side. I hope you'll be able to, get started and test it out since it's already available. Now, in terms of use cases, right, here are the top 5 use cases that we've identified with our beta customers. First is navigation skills. So navigation skills help users find the right resources fast, whether it's HR policies, documents, or even product documentation. Instead of, employees guessing where to click or which app to find the information, the user simply asks Joule, hey, fetch my document XYZ, and then this skill routes them directly to the right content. And next, we have the system transaction. So these skills automate structured actions like creating IT tickets or submitting expense reports or even handling order management workflows. So these are more suitable for high volume rule-based tasks that previously required tons of multiple steps or manual effort. And next is a decision assistant. And as the name suggests, these skills help Joule provide users with actionable insights, like, evaluating someone's credit risks or forecasting sales performance or predicting warehouse demands, which is really powerful. So it's not just about showing the data, it's actually about giving the context and helping the user to make right decision based on the data itself. And of course, then there's the data access, like the demo we just saw. These skills retrieve and monitor specific data points, such as shipment tracking, stock market insights, or travel monitoring. And these are some of the immediate wins where we're rolling out with Joule skills, as you can see, which you can, identify and use in your businesses. And finally, I forgot to mention the workflow execution part. So these skills enable then Joule to also kick off or guide a user through a structured processes or workflows, like approving a new hire, requesting maintenance, or renewing supplier contract. So basically, Joule can collect inputs, trigger automation, and ensure the right steps are followed. So to wrap it up, the exciting part is that all of these use cases and even more are now possible with Joule Studio using skills. And you define the logic once, and the skill becomes instantly available for you to be used across multiple solutions to challenges you want to solve. So in a nutshell, you're extending your Copilot Joule to truly work for your businesses. And here we have 3 new governance capabilities that we would like to show you today. So first is the new approval flows for IT admins. So previously we lacked built-in approval flow, let's say, especially if you're IT admin, to manage who can create projects and who can transport them across different tenants, right? So previously we had a little bit of manual process around it, which increased a little bit of governance risks. So to address this, we're now introducing the approval flows and multi-node project transport for governance. So now you can set up rules to actually control who can create and transport projects, ensuring every project and move from one tenant to the other is reviewed and authorized by admins. So overall, these projects, these innovations then bring you then structure and alignment to your internal policies, because you can customize it fully to your business use case. So I'll go ahead and show you how that looks like end to end in a demo we have here. So as an IT admin, I will go to the control tower and then go to the governance rules. And then here you find the 2 new functionalities here. Here you can decide, whether a project can be either ungoverned or governed. So if we choose governed, for example, right, for creating a project. So here we have set up the entire end-to-end process as to how would this look like. So here, for example, you would be able to, get a questionnaire filled from the person who created the project. And then you can choose to approve or reject. So now from the perspective of the end user or a developer, let's say we are creating a process automation project. And I will first create the project, of course, and then submit. Now, because we enabled the governance here, we would now need to answer the questionnaire assigned by the IT admin. So now going to my inbox of the developer who is creating the project, answers these questionnaire as to what do you want to do with this project, to get a little bit of information. So the IT admin can decide whether to approve or not. So now the project version says pending approval. And here, from the perspective of the IT admin or my inbox of the IT admin, I can now approve the same request. And then here, if we see the same project now, it is now editable. So the developer can continue working on it. And then if we go to, let's say, another project here, for example, here is the transport functionality, where you can click on the the right-hand button with 3 dots, and then you will find the transport functionality. And again, because it is governed, we are asked to complete the questionnaire as well. So if I want to transport from a tenant to a productive tenant, then the transport is now pending approval, for example. And then the same procedure, the approval request comes to the IT admin's inbox, and then IT admin approves it. And then let's refresh. It is now transporting to the productive tenant. And here in the governance request section, as of the IT admin, you can see everything has been approved from the perspective of IT admin. So with that, that completes the first demo, and I would love to hand it over to our colleague Win for the next presentation. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So I'll just walk you through the Manage Decisions app right now, and to give you an understanding of what this does. So currently we have the lobby, and in the lobby, if you create an SBPA project, then you would be having all the artifacts like process, decisions, forms, and everything. And lot of times in IT, in the processes, in the businesses, we have only specific business users who are supposed to only work with the decisions and only change the logic or update the decisions. They really do not need an access to all the other artifacts, and they generally go to a developer to go and make the changes. So this creates delays. And also sometimes there is an issue that it could be that they accidentally changed something, and then there was an unwanted change in the project, or other artifacts were tampered with. So what we have done is, to solve this problem, we have a separate Manage Decisions app that you can now configure from your work zone. And here you can enable the business users to access only the decisions that are part of the project, and this helps in having a direct access. This is secure and also reduces the time taken to update the decisions as well. And of course, because you are having the role collection not implemented, so the unauthorized changes are also restricted. The key features here is one-click deployment. So if you say deploy all, I'll show that in the demo as well. If you say deploy all from the decisions, it will deploy the decisions all together. Also internally, it is linked to a project, so all the project artifacts also gets deployed. And design focus view, because you can immediately go to the decisions and see the decisions, and you can see the rules, everything directly. You have also design console to check if there are any errors, and you can see all the version history for the decisions as well. There are some important points to note, that the Studio Home application or the Manage Decisions app can be only configured and it can be deployed to only a shared environment. And because the user also internally still is working on the same project, you need to have the process automation developer role, and you need to also have access to the lobby project. Let's run through a demo. So this is the Manage Decisions app that we have configured on Workzone, and you can click it and you can see you're only seeing the decisions that are relevant, and you can click on the decisions. You can see all the rules. So for example, you want to change the data here. Let's say as a business user, so I want to just change some data here. Let's say I want to make it 500 as of now, and you can just update. So you do not have the exact full-fledged functionality that you see in decisions, but you have the required functionality that is required for the particular business user to work on the decisions and update the decisions. So here the deploy all button is deploying all the artifacts, and here you see a design console at the bottom, and on the top when you open, you can see also all the versions that are available. So this is in short how you can use the Manage Decisions app. Now let's go to the next topic, that is enhanced interoperability and integration. So as Jesse mentioned, we have different points of integrations. I'll walk you over to two of them. First one is success factor integration with the Event Hub. So we already support event mesh, advanced event mesh from SAP Build Process Automation. S/4HANA is supported out of the box. What we also support now is success factor out of the box. Means you can go to Business Accelerator Hub, you can explore the events on Business Accelerator Hub via Event Lobby, and you can also upload your custom events. You can also explore your custom events from SuccessFactors that support Event Hub. Okay, so if you look at the challenges point of view, if you have scenarios around SuccessFactors like HR, onboarding and all, it was not that easy before, and you cannot easily identify what events are relevant for your system. And if you want custom integration, of course, it requires a lot of effort. If you look at a situation before this, how would you implement SuccessFactors? You have to use iFlows, or you can use event mesh. You have to do your custom setup and all. But now it has become much more simpler. What you can do is easily discover the events, like I mentioned, and you can easily start your processes. And just to give a brief overview of what is SAP Cloud Application Event Hub. So SAP has Event Hub as the suggestion for the de facto or default solution for all integration within SAP systems. But if you do not have support for Event Hub from your LOB in SAP, then for example, then you can go ahead with Event Mesh or Advanced Event Mesh. Also, if you have on-prem solution or non-SAP solution that do not support Event Hub, then you have to go with Advanced Event Mesh or Event Mesh. Otherwise, we are suggesting you to use Event Hub because it's also very low cost. It's very easy to configure technically, and as an end user, if you ever configured Event Mesh and Advanced Event Mesh, you know it's not that easy. You need an IT admin to set this up. But with this integration, UCL integration, we have a UCL integration. So that is very, very easy to configure the success factors. Now let's take a quick demo. I am not showing the setup here. I'll just show how you can start the event. So at this point, we already have the connection between the success factor system and BTP. And we can now look at all the systems that are connected to BTP, for example, and find out what events are available for that particular system. So if you have 10 success factor system, for example, you can just filter out which system you are looking for, and then you can find out the event and then select the event here and then go ahead. So it is very relevant to your system that you're connected to. For example, I am checking the events that are available for the configured success factor system. This is the output payload, and you can also see the headers. So we need all the payload information to be used in the process. Generally, the events, be it a data event or a notification event, we use the information in the process to make further API calls, to make approvals and all that. So here you see the event project is created. Okay, now we release it. So when we release and publish, the project becomes part of the library, similar to how it works for actions. Actions are API calls and events are business events here. So once they are published in the library, we can go back to lobby and we can create an SAP Build Process Automation project. So for example, here I'm just creating a process, and you can give some name and you can create a project and give the name of the process that you want. And here you can start with the event trigger. So this all was available for custom event, for S4 events. Now SuccessFactors also works out of the box. And this is create. And once you have added the event trigger, just click on it to see the outputs. Now we are done with the event setup. Later on, you can just design your process as per your business needs. You can have APIs, approvals, everything, and you can use the data coming from the output of this event trigger later in the process. Okay, now let's go to the next topic. This is BPM and import. So we also support now business process model and notation import. That means if you are using any other tools, PPM and based tools for creating your processes or modeling your processes, then you can just export the file and import it in SAP Build Process Automation. Automatically, a process will be created for you for the artifacts that are supported directly. For example, mail tasks, script tasks, all these will be directly converted. But some things like your forms, actions, you might have to tweak a little to also change as per the process. So this all also will be supported going forward in the future. We are working on that. But for now, we are able to import and we can get started with the process. I'll show you how this is. But what is important here is why this helps us, because it is reducing our development time drastically. We are really able to scale up the delivery, and of course the documentation, execution, everything is much smoother. So it's not only SAP Signavio. I would like to stress here, any BPMN based process modeling tool that you're using can be used here. Okay, so this is the sample. I'll not show this in detail. This is how the process looks like in Signavio. This is a model, and these are the steps. Now let's take a look at how this looks if I would like to start from the system. Okay, this is I go to the live demo. So I just want to refresh my screen so that I don't lose the session. And here what I have done is I have already created a project where I have some sample approval form, sub processes and all. And I would like to import my BPMN file that I have already exported, and let's see how we go about it. So this is the BPMN process. I check the process file. So this is my CapEx. CapEx is capital expenditure. And when you import, it tells okay that these all artifacts are not directly converted, so you might have to adapt them, which is fair enough warning. And I can go ahead and open the process. So this is the capex process, and you can see here there are multiple steps: create a request, calculate price, and all this. So let me start fixing all these errors as of now. So this is the create request. I can say I want to replace with the form. Good. And it gives me the forms that are available. It's a create request form. Let me just give here the subject, and I would also need to give the users. So I can say started by, and now I see the error is gone. Let's check for the total price of item. This is the script task. There is some issue with the script, so I can just fix the script here. For example, I need to just give the proper script here and then just validate. So in case you haven't tried this before, this is how the script tasks look like. And procurement approval. So I would like to replace this with the sub process, and I have the sub process ready. Now let's check what else is missing. So I see the priority is missing, and once I map the priority properly, the error also is gone. Next step is a procurement review. If I just expand it, I see here there are other steps as well. For now, I would like to replace this with an approval form, and let me try replace with approval, and I need to go to procurement review approval. Okay, and just say here procurement approval. This is the subject I need to give for the form. This is mandatory, same is the users, and there are also some inputs required. So let me try to also map the inputs. From the capex request, I need the line items for the details. I need the project description. I also need the lead and the project name, and vendor is what I would expect from the user as an input, so I leave it as is. Okay, now you see the error also has vanished from here. Next step is the finance review. I just click on it and also try to replace with the proper form. So this is not the form. Let me go with an approval. So this is the approval, and replace with the approval, finance review approval, and say this is finance approval. So these steps are generally required if you go for any business use case. You have multiple approval steps for complex scenarios. So this is how it looks like. So I'm modeling it in a similar way. Now let's check also the data we need to bind. So this is priority. And one interesting thing you note here that if I'm going for an amount, it shows me only the amount field. It does not show me the string fields. So this is text. This is name, and tax amount also shows me the numbers, total cost. So it highlights me easily, so I can easily now fix this. Okay, so this is one step done. Then let's check what it is. So if the total cost here it says is above 10,000, then it will go for a CEO approval. Now if you go and click here in the CEO approval, I say I want to have a proper approval form, CEO approval. So I'm replacing these steps. Okay, so this is CEO approval. Only when the condition is met, please note, only when the condition is met will this is CEO approval be triggered. Okay, so I go and select here again. So I have to select the project amount, descriptions. We are filling up the field so that the approver gets all these details in the form that they're getting. Okay, so this is the total cost, and let me save it. Okay. So now see approval also is fine. Now here we have the mail. We are looking for somebody to send the mail to. Let it be started by. And if I say here sender, what I can also do is I can just replace it with my name, for example, and I can say here approved. Okay, and apply. So this is my process. This is done. I'm saving it. And let's go back on the top and check. I want to add a trigger. So let's say I want to add a schedule trigger. This is scheduled trigger, let's say demo 2. This is the second session today. So I say create. And if you go back, if whenever you add a trigger, it gets added in the trigger overview. So you can just verify also whether it has been added properly or not successfully. Now let's go back and just check if my process is fine. And the best thing is also that you see here in the design console, you do not have any errors, so this project is good to go. I'm somehow seeing some start event. Let me just refresh the screen just to be sure that I am having the proper trigger added. It's taking a while. So the schedule trigger that we have added is not activated yet. Once we deploy the project, we need to activate it and only then it will work. Yeah, so the trigger is fine. Now I just release and let me see. This is being released now. Yeah, show project version. And I am in the proper version. Now deploy. So I have already an environment where I want to deploy. So let's check. So it is saying that this trigger will be created, which is fine and expected. So I go ahead and the deployment should be done, and I would go and see in the environment that it should be available. Okay, so this is done. Let me go back and check. So if you have deployed in the particular environment, you can go to control tower environments, and this is my environment here. I can go in and go to the triggers view. So all these artifacts are relevant for my particular environment. You can select and check all this after deployment where it comes here. And in the trigger view, you can see here my schedule trigger is already here. I would just like to activate it, and I would like to also select a time zone. Okay, so I can select any random time for now, and I can also trigger it from the process and workflows. So I can go here, and there are different ways of triggering it. You can trigger it by schedule. You can use a run now option. You can also start it using an empty context here. So let's say I'm starting it in empty context. So I say start new instance. Empty context means I just give it blank value and start, because I am not expecting anything at the process level, so this would work fine. Okay, so let's go to the monitoring. So we would like to see how the process is doing. We have just started, and let's see. So this capex process is running. I just deployed this, and you can see here this task is available. So where it is available, it is there in the inbox. We should have a form. So this is the user task, and these are the logs. And when you come to the my inbox, you should see this form. So I need to create a capex request now. Okay, so demo, let me just say demo capex, and project description is same. I say project lead Rupam, request date is today, and priority is high. Project initiator Jesse, start date is 17 and completion date is 31. Amount, I can give some amount here, and let me try to enter some more details. This is material, this is number S 1 2 3, And I'm just entering. So you can give details as required for your use case. I'm just entering some random values, and let's see, the next step should be the next approval step. Okay, procurement approval. So here now the procurement person or the user will be there, and they have to approve this. They have to select the vendor, give some comments. Of course they can rework, reject. We can also configure such kind of options, but as of now this was a sub process, and now this was also sub process in BPMN and also sub process in SBPA. Now this is the finance approval, so finance, this also they approve it here. Okay, and then let's go ahead and do a refresh, and this is going for a CO approval because it has exceeded the cost that was there. Okay, this is the CO approval. Now we go ahead and approve. Okay, it should be completed. If I go here and check in my logs, this instance is completed, and I should have a mail as well. Let me go ahead and check. So this is the mail that my request is approved. So that's it from my side. Hope you enjoyed, and over to you, Rupam.
I will bring to you the digital workplace innovations that we had in Q2. Select 4 of them. There are way more, like menus and newer art aspects, but we'll today focus starting with the document grounding using work zone content. So we all know when it comes to AI, trust is a big factor. And we also know AI can sometimes produce very creative, but not entirely accurate responses, right? Like some call it hallucinations. Moreover, Joule is a very powerful digital system, but when it comes to your own unstructured content, it can only respond to what was the underlying LLM trained on. And that's one of the key challenges for business users. They need the answers grounded in their own company's specific knowledge or internal information, data that is usually created, shared, and managed within SAP Build Workzone. To tackle both these challenges, the need of reliability and relevance, we've integrated the document grounding service to directly utilize the content from SAP Build Workzone Advanced Edition. Now, document grounding service, many of you may know, is an existing BTP service which is used by Joule, and it ensures the response to you get are not just relevant but also reliable. So this means that when a business user queries something in Joule, which is then understood and the respective vectors are picked from the already indexed content of Workzone, and the relevant information is surfaced by Joule. It could come from documents like PDF or docx that our user uploads into Workzone workspace folders, or even the internal knowledge that user captures within Workzone, for example, the knowledge base articles, blogs, wikis, etc. Now, this helps Joule provide precise company relevant answers. So let's see how you go about doing this. So first of all, let's see how a administrator would enable document grounding in Workzone itself. So we first go to the administration control, and under the feature enablement, you have features where you can go and see that there is an option now to enable document grounding integration. One of the key requirement for enabling that document grounding is to also enable a OAuth to client within Workzone. Once you do that, you select this particular client here, and then you enable the document grounding integration. Once you do that, the next step would be to go into the workspaces and select this workspaces from which you would want to expose the content. By default, not all content is exposed. It is up to the company administrators to define which workspaces are relevant for Joule to respond from. For example, here you can see a column called document grounding, and these 2 workspaces for today has already been assigned as AI source, which basically you can also disable it if you wish to. But if you wish to enable another workspace, which is a public workspace, you can do so here. Just a side note, today the document grounding service is only available against the content from public workspace. So for private workspace like this one, you do not have an option to enable document grounding at this point. Now let us see how one could use this. So in this story, Acme Medic has set up a supplier portal, a supplier workspace basically, which is now available for suppliers to gain knowledge about Acme, use this service to work better with Acme Medic. Now they have given lots of sources here, like lots of content and policies and guidelines and knowledge-based articles as well. Now, let's see, if I were a supplier for Acme Medic and I would want to understand a few things about Acme Medic, the supply portal, how would I do so without having to go through all the content by myself? So let us say I can ask a question like, what are the key benefits of being a Acme supplier, and what can the Acme supplier portal help with? Okay, I'm not typing very well, but I think Joule will figure it out. Let's see. So as you can see, it has figured out the response from two different knowledge-based articles at this point. First of all, what are the different key benefits? It comes from this particular article, which you can also see here. It's available advantages of being Acme supplier. Obviously, the source is also maintained here, so you can click this and go and read this. I just wanted to show you in a separate tab. So this is where it picked the first part of the answer. The second part of the answer was picked from another content, which is coming from this particular article, which talks about the benefits of being, so the key features of Acme Supply Portal. Well, that's how document grounding can help provide answers, relevant and reliable answers from Joule using WorkZone's own content. Moving on to the next topic, which is quite exciting one and has been around from the beginning of Q2, which is an update about the mobile experience. So SAP Mobile Start now serves as a unified mobile access point for all WorkZone editions, including Advanced Edition and SuccessFactors WorkZone. This means that we've closed the last remaining gap, and the Mobile Start now supports a full spectrum of WorkZone offerings. Up until now, customers using Advanced Edition had to rely on a separate mobile app, which created fragmentation in deployment, support, and user experience. So with this update, we have enabled a single streamlined mobile entry point, offering secure access to apps, tasks, workspaces, and notifications, all through SAP Mobile Start. And it ensures basically consistent enterprise-grade UX across devices, tightly integrating with SAP Build WorkZone, any of the editions. And this also initiates the gradual phase out of the legacy advanced application, the mobile app. So for new customers, this is simplified onboarding. Basically, you can start directly with SAP Mobile Start. For existing customers, we support running both the apps in parallel and allowing a smooth transition, so one group of a user at a time. Moving on to the next topic, which is early preview of UI5 version. So previously, WorkZone utilized the latest UI5 version immediately as soon as they were released, and which is in past had led to some issues, especially around the custom content, which either had to be adapted or UI5 version issue had to be fixed or reverted because of the issues showing up in the productive environment. So with this new preview function in SAP Build WorkZone, you can now test upcoming SAP UI5 versions in the staging environments before rollout, which means for about a week before it hits the production, you can test the upcoming SAP UI5 version, which also means there's a delay in the adoption of the latest UI5 version in the WorkZone productive system. So customer can utilize this gap to validate the end-to-end scenarios in a non-productive WorkZone setup and helps identify potential issues early and improve the overall stability. And how do you do that? You basically have this flag now in the site administration where you can enable this, especially only in non-productive environments. And once you enable this, you will be able to get the latest WorkZone, UI5 version, and can test your set up a test for all your end-to-end scenarios so that you are confident that this will also work well when the same UI5 version hits the productive environment next. Well, the last but not the least of the topics, local entry point for SaaS solutions built on BTP. So this may be more interesting for the partners and even for customers who build SAP, build their own multi-tenant SaaS solution or via in BTP using the best practices. So previously, to create an entry point to your SaaS solution, you would have used something called a cloud portal. It's a legacy cloud portal service, or to give you some sort of a launchpad experience for your SaaS solution, or you would have had a very manual tedious task to set up the whole integration within a workzone environment. So with this innovation, which is nothing but a new service plan for existing standard workzone service, you can, as a developer, use workzone as a reuse service, as an underlying technical service, which enables creation of these local entry point, which is a launchpad experience for your SaaS solution, which is role-based access and with tiles and UI integration cards. So what happens while you're creating, you basically assign the dependency with this workzone service plan called local entry point. And once you deploy it, you only need in your provider account the respective entitlement for this particular service plan and this particular workzone service. But when the consumer side, when they subscribe to it, they don't need any workzone instance. In fact, they just subscribe to it and they automatically get a business site up and running, ready for consumption based on the content defined within the provider sub account. So within the provider application, the developer has provided. And that's as simple as it gets to provide a launchpad experience for your SaaS solution. So this is already available, the local entry point for standalone BTP SaaS solution. The last point that I would want to stress upon is that obviously this is not the only way to consume this. You can also integrate the local entry point business side into a central workzone instance. So many customers use workzone as a place where they bring in together many of their SAP and non-SAP content, like from S4, from SuccessFactors. Here, you can also integrate then the LAPs seamlessly. With this, I would hand over to Jesse to take us through the rest of the session.